Look at that, I got a pen. And this is because he treats the pre-Islamic period, and very few people do. So he's got Saba and Himyar, first chapter, the history and legends of the pagan pre-Islamic Arabs, and pre-Islamic poetry. And then that's the third chapter. Pre-Islamic poetry we'll pick up in the second part of the class when we deal with culture. So really we'll only do the first two chapters of Nicholson now. And then in those other books, those more cultural books that I had in the packet, I think it's one is called Islamic Civilization by Arbery, and the other is by a guy named Kritzik, an anthology of Arab and Islamic literature. They've got selections too from pre-Islamic poetry that we'll pick up in the second part of the class in the cultural section. So we don't even need those sections. All we need are these first two chapters of Nicholson, really. And maybe a little bit from the poetry just to get an idea of what some of the ethos of the period was. So I don't think you can understand the Arabs or Islam without going into the pre-Islamic period. And that's why I think that's so important. So that's what you'll be looking for. If you go to the reserve room, you can read those chapters. Hopefully I'll go down there and start yelling at them again. I mean, because they gave me no indication that they were behind on these so-called permissions that they were supposed to get last June. And certainly from Nicholson, there shouldn't be any problem anyway. It's maybe some of the other books. So they can give you a separate, better have it all in one book. But this is the hold-up, then we have to do something about that. So by noontime, we'll either try in the reserve room or see what's happened down in the bookstore by noontime. Because after this class, I'm going to go down and see what we can do to rectify things if possible. So what we're dealing with here is what the Muslims call, and the reason we start with the Arabs, because as we already know now in the world, Islam is not just Arabs, and that's one of the huge problems, of course, we're finding today in Iraq. People think, oh, Iraq, it's an Arab country. Well, it is and it isn't. They speak Arabic, most of the people there, but some I'm sure speak Persian, and the Kurds have their own language. So Arabic is probably the dominant force in Iraq in terms of numbers and language, but not the total picture. All just about of the dominant groups in Iraq are Islamic, but Islam of different kinds, as we're seeing. And some are not even Muslims at all. For instance, there's a lot of Iraqi Christians. And I'm not just saying new converts like you get in South America or someplace, either Catholic or fundamentalist evangelical that are moving into South American areas, but these are old Christians. These are what are, I think you'd call them Syriac Christians. These go back to the founding days of Christianity in the 1st and 2nd and 3rd centuries of the Christian period. These are not new Christians.